Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on, and welcome to another episode of Answers for Athletes. In today's video, we have a question from the Hebes 100, who says, what other exercises should I do on a day when I am doing depth jumps? The main goal of this day in my program is to be a complete plyo day. I have a great answer for you, but before I give you that answer, make sure that you comment JUMP, J-U-M-P, down below in the comment section if you want a free bodyweight vertical jump training program, and leave your question down below in the comment section as well if you want me to answer your question in a video just like this. So to answer your question, what other exercises should I do on a day when I'm doing depth jumps? It really depends on what you need. So the answer is it depends, and I'm going to give you some guidelines to follow, but it depends on what that athlete needs or what you need in general. The main goal of this day in my program is to be a complete plyo day. Here's why it's very hard to make a complete plyo day. Because there's so many different categories of plyos. We have horizontal, vertical, lateral, unilateral versus bilateral. We have, shallow, mid, or deep tier plyometrics. We have force absorption or deceleration. We have concentric only plyos. We have loaded versus unloaded plyos. Like there's skill focus or sport specific plyos. There's reactive plyos. There's minimal ground contact time versus longer ground contact time. There's a lot of different categories for plyometrics that you could be doing. So it's hard to just create a complete plyo day for everybody because everybody is different. So I have a few things that I'm going to give you for how to create a complete plyo day specific to you. So I would choose 3 to 8 plyometric exercises on any complete plyo day. And I would make sure that you are doing all of these plyos. It's hard to know how to progressive overload. You're just going to be jumping as high as possible or running as fast as possible. The intent needs to be max intent for you to really force your body to change. I just want to put that in there. But 3 to 8 exercises for plyos is going to be great for a complete plyo day. If you're a beginner, maybe just do 3. If you're more advanced, maybe do 8. Depends on, and even if you have a high training age, but you haven't been doing plyos recently, and then you get back into plyos, you basically have a low training age for plyos, right? You've taken some time off. So I would start with less intense variations of plyos, and I would start with less exercises total. So the exercises that you should choose for you depend on your level, beginner, intermediate, advanced, can depend on what phase you are on, right? If you are utilizing periodization, which not all athletes need to periodize, especially if you're playing your sport a lot. But for, us athletes who are, maybe like 22 plus, we don't play high school or college anymore. We don't have, a bunch of games and practices every week, then we might want to periodize our training, and that would be okay. So the plyometrics would depend on, could depend on which phase that you are in, right? If you're in a speed phase, it's probably going to be most velocity-based, speed-based exercises, minimal ground contact time, reactive-based plyos. If you're in, like a more of a rate of force development, power plyo phase, maybe you're doing, loaded jumps. Maybe you're doing longer ground contact time. Maybe you're doing some concentric work. It's really gonna depend. But it's like I just don't have a good answer here for you. It's really gonna depend on you. It's gonna depend on each athlete. Here's what I'll do to try to give you a better answer. Here's what I do for all of my athletes that I train in person. All the athletes that train with me in person, or actually probably in most of my programming as well. This is what I do. I focus on a warm-up first, and most of the time I'm combining our plyos with our strength training. But if I ever do plug in, just a plyo day, it would be a warm-up first. Maybe this is where I would add plyometric sequences, like in our warm-up, right? So there's a guy out there, his name is Plyomorph on Instagram, tons of followers. No hate because he's spreading plyometrics, but a lot of the things he talks about are plyometric sequences. You do a lateral jump over a hurdle, then you jump back over a hurdle, then you jump over 2 forward hurdles, then you jump onto a box. Like those are great. For beginners, you're going to get some great results with that. But for advanced athletes with a higher plyometric training age, that's probably not going to get you any gains. But that's a good warm-up, right? Because the reason it won't get you that many gains is because plyometric sequences are normally just a bunch of sub-maximal jumps, right? And in order to get gains, we need to jump as high as we can or sprint as fast as we can. Like we have to do something that forces adaptation in the organism, which is your body. But what I normally do is I'll do a warm-up. That's where we add our plyometric sequences because they're fun, bro. Plyo sequences are fun. It's like you're doing the same old exercise all the time. Hit some plyometric sequences. And then I will do a reactive-based exercise or shorter ground contact time. This could be, drop jumps, bounds, skips, hops. Then I will do a longer ground contact time, like depth jumps, maybe some seated box jumps. This is where I would add my skill, like a penultimate step or a banded penultimate step, or, an approach, like approach over a hurdle or approach onto a box. Lateral jumps, I would probably add, actually lateral jumps, depending, but they could go in either one of these categories. And then I normally like to add my loaded jumps after that. So loaded squat jumps, loaded pogo jumps. And then the last thing that I finish up with is deep tier plyometrics. So you're in a deep, and I know somebody asked a question about deep tier plyometrics, so I'm actually going to make a full video on that. But deep tier plyometrics are great because we get the muscles and the tendons in their end ranges, and we focus at higher rates of movement or at higher speeds. Like if you're doing a deep tier squat jump, some of us, our body is used to getting into deeper ranges when we squat, like a deep back squat, but we never get in that same position at higher speeds, which if you play basketball, there's a lot of deep knee bend at higher speeds. So that is why we like to train that. But I will finish off with like deep tier squat jumps, deep tier lunge jumps, deep tier forward hops, deep tier, hops onto and off of a plate. So yeah, I'll warm up or plyo sequence. Then I'll do short ground contact time. Then I'll do longer ground contact time. Then I'll do some loaded jumps. And then I'll finish off with some deep tier jumps. And this is not 100% set in stone. Like I said, it's going to depend on every athlete, but this is what I do for most of my athletes in person. And this is what I would do with you if you want a quote unquote complete plyo day. And then make sure you know that like you have to be adding like the horizontal, vertical, lateral component, the unilateral versus bilateral, some force absorption. Like if you're a beginner, you're going to want a lot of force absorption and deceleration. Teach your body how to land first. Then you would do, some power plyos or some longer ground contact time plyos. And then after that, maybe you do some more reactive plyos or some speed-based, velocity-based plyos. But yeah, this is my answer for you. I hope something that I said was of benefit to any of you out there, but that is my answer for you today. Like this video if you like it, subscribe to the channel. We post every single day at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Comment jump for a free body weight vertical jump training program. And if you really want to take your gains to the next level, we have advanced training programs. We got Beyond the Rim 1, 2, 3, Beyond the Rim Project Plyo, Beyond the Rim Strong and Bouncy, Beyond the Rim Vertical Jump Secret System, my new program that is getting athletes gains. By far my most intensive programming. I have customized coaching if you want me to take everything about you, your previous training history, your previous injury history, your accessibility to equipment, how long you have to train, your age, like your everything about you, and make a customized program for you. I have that as well. We got upper body programs. We have everything that you need to take your athleticism to the next level. Link will be down below in the description of this video and in the pinned comment. But without further ado, I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.